Good day. This is a recording on our discussion on kidney and kidney disorders. So before we dig deeper into the different disorders affecting our kidneys, let us first discuss on the functions of the kidney. Okay. Generally, class, the functions of the kidney, there are 5 general functions of the kidney. And the major function of the kidney is to keep the body clean. It keeps the body clean by allowing for the disposal of waste products from the body. Okay. So through your kidneys, we would be able to excrete nitrogenous waste out of the body, excrete toxins, either from those that we eat or toxins that we get from medications. So you see, since the kidney is responsible for the excretion of these toxins from the food that we eat and from the medications that we take, it is quite logical to say that any and all medication has a nephrotoxic effect. Because of course, medications are chemicals. I think everyone would agree. Being a chemical, it would somehow, at varying degrees, contain toxins. Now, who comes in contact with these toxins all the time? It's your kidneys, because these toxins have to be excreted, and for them to be excreted, they have to pass through the kidneys. So automatic na autocorrect na class kung pangutan-on mo unsa ang potential complications of any and all medication. So tanan klase sa medication di ay pwede nga naay nephrotoxic effects. Why is that? Because the toxins from the medications will have to pass through the kidneys for it to be excreted. Okay? So again, the kidneys are responsible for the disposals of your nitrogenous waste and toxins coming from the foods that we eat and from the drugs that we take. Now, what are the most common nitrogenous wastes that the body must get rid of? Okay? Una, common na din ha class ang imong urea. So urea is a waste product which comes after the metabolism of protein. Okay? Mukaon kag isda, kaon kag baboy, kaon kag itlog, inom kag gatas. What does it have? It has protein. And for these proteins to be usable to the body, they have to be metabolized. And after metabolism, naaman na siya waste product. And one of the waste product is urea. So urea must be excreted out of the body. Okay? Kay accumulation of urea or elevation in the levels of urea in the body, kung di na siya mapagawas sa imong kidney, kay probably because guba ang imong kidney, pwede kang mo-develop og renal encephalopathy. Other name for renal encephalopathy is your uremic encephalopathy. This is kind of a brain disorder which is attributable to the accumulation of urea or waste product urea in the blood. Okay? Toxic man na siya, class. Waste man na siya. So, tanan atong gikaon nga protein inig metabolize, mahimong urea. So, it is not surprising, class, kung ang pasyente na aga ni kidney problem, usa sa iyang diet, no? Usa sa iyang diet regimen is to slow down the intake of protein. Gamay ra gyud ang protein nga pwede nimong kaunon. In fact, mo ana ang doktor nga matchbox size of protein ra. Ngano man? Because you know that when these proteins are metabolized, it produces urea as a waste product. And since the kidney cannot excrete properly well, no, these waste products, then pwede siyang accumulate, causing some brain disorders, just like your renal encephalopathy. Okay, that's one. Another waste product class is your uric acid. Okay, uric acid is a waste product of cellular metabolism. So dili tanan uric acid gikan sa pagkaon. These are natural waste product of your nucleic acid metabolism at the cellular level. Okay, waste product po na siya. Nitrogenous waste po na siya. And also your creatinine. Okay? You should know that creatinine is a waste product also. Diin man na siya gikan either from the intake of protein, metabolism of protein, pwede sad ang creatinine from the metabolism of muscles. Every time your muscles are being used, eventually they break apart. But we build up proteins. We build up muscles using proteins. So as muscles break, okay, or as proteins are metabolized, creatinine is produced as a waste product. And again, since basura man na siya, dapat na siyang ipagawas sa imuhang kidneys. But unsa may mahitabo kung guba ang kidney? Mapagawas ba ni or dili? Di ba? Dili man siya mapagawas. Mutaas ang imuhang creatinine level. Mudaghan ang imuhang creatinine level. And this is the reason why, class. This is an important principle. In terms of kidney disorders, ang pinaka-sensitive and most reliable test for your kidney function is determining the levels of creatinine. Such that, kung taas kag creatinine, mas bati ang imuhang performance sa kidney. Imong tan-awon that the creatinine levels must be from 0.6 to 1.2 milligrams per DL. Musubra gani ka ng 0.6 to 1.2, taas ra. Taas ra because guba di ay ang kidney. Wa niya mapagawas. So what are the effects, class, if the kidneys fail to dispose of this nitrogenous waste? And I've mentioned one. Pwede kang magka-renal encephalopathy or your uremic encephalopathy. But what else? What might happen pa man kung di na niya ma-dispose ang imuhang mga nitrogenous waste? Other manifestations, class, could be in the form of pruritus, katul-katul sa imuhang panit. Tungod na siya, class, sa kataas, no, sa imuhang urea in the blood. Okay? Pwede pud kang magmanifest og uremic frost. Uremic frost. Uremic frost, class, is the accumulation of uric acid in the blood, no? Nga mura siya og mga icebergs on the skin. Okay? I'll show you. So this is how it looks, no? Okay, so mo na siya inyuhang uremic frost, no? Mura siya og mga ice crystals on the skin, which is actually a manifestation of elevated urea. So uremic frost ang tawag ana. Accompanied na siya, class, by dryness of the skin. Okay? So uremic frost is one of the manifestation if your patients are unable to dispose nitrogenous waste. Aside from uremic frost, aside from pruritus, ma-manifest po na sa ato ang patient through its breath. Ang tawag nato ana, class, kung ganina uremic frost, ang tawag nato sa odor sa iyahang breath, we call it as uremic breath. Okay? So these are the effects if the patient is not able to dispose of the nitrogenous waste in the body. Okay? Next function. The next function of the kidney, class, is that the kidney is very effective. No? Although slow siya, pero still it is very effective in regulating your blood pressure. Okay? So how does your kidney, no, regulate your blood pressure? Okay? It is effective in regulating your blood pressure through the abilities of the juxtamedullary cells of the kidneys to secrete the so-called renin. So kinsay mo secrete og renin? Ang juxtamedullary cells of the kidneys. Your renin, class, is usually secreted whenever there is a decrease in your blood pressure, whenever there is dehydration, okay? Dehydration or cases of fluid volume deficit, okay? So dehydrated gani ang tao or ubos gani ang blood pressure sa tao, ang juxtamedullary cells of the kidneys would have to secrete renin. Now, unsa may buhaton sa renin, okay? Ang imong liver, class, nagasecrete na siya og atong gitawag og angiotensinogen. Okay. Kaning angiotensinogen, it cannot do anything for the body yet. They are normally produced by the liver and being sent into the bloodstream. So nagtuyok-tuyok lang na siya diha sa imuhang dugo. But the moment, class, that the blood pressure decreases or when the person is dehydrated, ang kidney mo-secrete og renin. So when renin and the angiotensinogen meets, okay, your angiotensinogen will have to be converted into angiotensin 1. Okay, again ha, ang imong liver is naturally producing an enzyme called your angiotensinogen. It does not do anything, okay? But when angiotensinogen meets with your renin, the angiotensinogen is converted into angiotensin 1. Okay? But renin will only be secreted by the kidneys if either the BP is low or the patient is in a state of dehydration. Okay. In the presence of angiotensin 1, still again, it cannot do anything or any effect to the body. But the moment that angiotensin 1 is converted by the angiotensin converting enzyme from the lungs, then your angiotensin 1 will have to be converted to become angiotensin 2. Okay? So when angiotensin 2 is already present, dinha na naanay daghang epekto. Okay. Unsa may mga effects of the release of angiotensin 2? Okay, number 1, it has an effect on your hypothalamus. What does it do to the hypothalamus? It causes your hypothalamus to stimulate thirst in the person. So magsigi na ka og inom. Nganong hypothalamus man, sir? Because if you remember our discussion sa neurologic system, the hypothalamus is the part of the brain which is the center for hunger, thirst, and temperature. Okay? So angiotensin 2 will cause the hypothalamus to stimulate the thirst center, no, such that the person will have to keep on drinking water. Okay? Angiotensin 2 will also have an effect on your anterior pituitary gland. Okay? What does it do? Your anterior pituitary gland will now have to secrete the vasopressin or antidiuretic hormone. Okay? Nganong kinahanglan man na ay antidiuretic hormone or vasopressin? Well, that's because the patient is in a state of dehydration. Okay? Ngano man magsige siya inom og tubig? Because the patient is in a state of dehydration. Okay? So angiotensin 2 causes stimulation of the hypothalamus to activate thirst, the anterior pituitary gland to secrete vasopressin and antidiuretic hormone. What else? Your angiotensin 2 also class will promote the release of aldosterone. So what does aldosterone do? Aldosterone will cause the reabsorption of sodium. And because sodium is reabsorbed, this will also affect the retention of water. So therefore, aldosterone will promote sodium and water retention. Okay? What else? Your angiotensin 2 is a potent vasoconstrictor. Being a potent vasoconstrictor, what effect does it have on the BP? Musaka ang imong blood pressure. Okay? So nganong musaka man ang BP basta na ay vasoconstriction? Because of the increase in systemic vascular resistance. Okay? Ang formula sa blood pressure class is BP is equal to cardiac output times systemic vascular resistance. Musaka ang BP kung daghan kag tubig or dugo, cardiac output. Musaka ang BP kung huot ang agianan sa dugo, systemic vascular resistance. Now, in the presence of angiotensin 2, what does it do to the blood vessel? Di ba mag-vasoconstriction? Sa Bisaya, muhuot ang imong ugat. Unsa may tawag ana medically sa paghuot or sa pag-vasoconstriction? Unsa may epekto ana niya? Maglisod og agi ang dugo. We call it systemic vascular resistance. Maubitaw nang moana tangano mang maka-high blood man na sir magsigi kaon og tambok. Ngano maka-high blood man na sir og daghan kag cholesterol. O kung daghan kag tambok or cholesterol, mopilit na sila sa imuhang ugat. So ang imong ugat imbes dako og lungag, gamay na lang kay nabulit na siyag mga kolesterol. So kung gamay na lang kag lungag, what happens to the need for pressure to pass through these blood vessels? Di ba? Mas taas ka og exert nga pressure para ma-push siya. Okay? So it has something to do with your systemic vascular resistance. or in the diameter, no, of your blood vessels. Okay? So in summary, class, the second important function of the kidney is that it regulates your blood pressure. How does it regulate your blood pressure? By the secretion of renin from the juxtamedullary cells of the kidneys. Okay? So what does renin do? It converts angiotensinogen to become angiotensin 1. And when angiotensin 1 is converted by your ACE, angiotensin converting enzymes from the lungs, it is converted to become angiotensin 2. And what are the effects of angiotensin 2? Una, hypothalamus, uhaw. Anterior pituitary, antidiuretic hormone is secreted. Aldosterone secretion, which promotes sodium and water reabsorption. And number 4, vasoconstriction, which causes elevation in the blood pressure through the increase in systemic vascular resistance. Okay, so that's the second function of the kidney. What is the third function of the kidney? You have the secretion of erythropoietin. Unsa man na siyang erythropoietin? This is required for the formation of red blood cells at the levels of the bone marrow. Meaning, bisan sige kag kaon og iron, sige kag kaog vitamin B12 to promote red blood cell production. Kung walay erythropoietin nga ginasekret ang imong kidney, wala gihapoy erythropoiesis mahitabo dinha sa imong bone marrow. Okay? So ayaw mo kahibong, basta na ay mga chronic kidney failure nga mga pasyente, mag-inject na sila sa ilahang bilbil. Kita mo na mag-inject sila subcutaneously. Magtuota nga insulin to ang inject, dili epogento or epoetin, and they are usually prescribed to be administered once a week. Okay? Since dili naman siya makasecrete og erythropoietin, mo nang maghatag na lang tag synthetic nga erythropoietin to the patient. Okay? Then number 4, your kidney is also responsible for the conversion or activation of your vitamin D. Okay? So it converts vitamin D to its active form. Sir, pwede ba tamo palit og vitamins nga vitamin D? Unsa may mga food sources of vitamin D bisag unsa nga pagkaon nga naigagmay nga bukog sama sa danggit, sardinas, dilis, basta na mga gagmay nga bukog na ana siya vitamin D, or you can take it through vitamins. But to tell you, these kinds of vitamin D that we get from them is not the active form. Bisan pag nitumar ka or nikaon kag vitamin D, it cannot give you the benefit yet. Kinahanglan pa ka ma-expose sa sunlight para ma-activate ang vitamin D. Okay? So, exposure to the sunlight with the aid of the kidneys as well, no? Dinha pa ma-activate into active form ang imuhang vitamin D, such that patients with kidney problems, no, cannot transform vitamin D into active form. So it's as good as saying nga wala siya vitamin D. Unya, ang problema ana class, kung wala kay vitamin D, dili pud ka maka-absorb sa imuhang calcium. So absence of vitamin D will be tantamount to hypocalcemia. Okay? So unsa epekto kung walay vitamin D? Ubos ang imuhang calcium. How about your phosphorus? What happens to your phosphorus level? Mutaas. Okay? Anong ingon ana man, sir? Because calcium and phosphorus are inversely proportional. Meaning, mutaas gani ang imong calcium, muubos imong phosphorus. Okay? And the other way around. So, kung walay kidney, walay activation of vitamin D, walay absorption of calcium. So, what would be the effect, no, on the person who has poor calcium? Then the bones weaken. No? We call it as osteopenia and eventually osteoporosis, or cases called renal hypodystrophy. So paggabok sa imuhang bukog. Okay? So that's the fourth function of the kidney. The fifth function of the kidney is to maintain acid and base balance. Okay? The kidney is responsible for maintaining your acid and base balance. How can the kidneys maintain acid-base balance? Number 1, siya ang responsible sa pag-excrete sa mga waste which are naturally acidic in nature. For example, urea. Uric acid, are they acidic? Yes. So because the kidneys facilitate in the excretion of these wastes which are naturally acidic in nature, they maintain acid-base balance. That's one. Okay. How else can the kidney maintain acid-base balance? Through the reabsorption of the bicarbonates. Okay. By the reabsorption of your bicarbonates. And number three, through the excretion or the reabsorption of your hydrogen ions. So there are three ways, class, by which the kidney can facilitate in maintaining acid-base balance. Sa to, una, excretion of naturally acidic waste. Number two, the reabsorption of bicarbonates. And number three, the excretion or reabsorption of hydrogen ion depending on the body's state of acidity or alkalinity. Meaning to say, kung ang tao acidic, ang hydrogen ion ipagawas ni kidney. Kung ang tao alkaline, ang hydrogen ion i-reabsorb sa ni kidney. Ana siya mo trabaho, class, such that there is a state of homeostasis or a state of balance between acid and base. So generally, class, these are the 5 functions of the kidney. Now, let's go to the discussion on the anatomy of the kidneys. So first and foremost, who supplies blood to the kidney? So ang dugo nga naabot dito sa imuhang kidney, class, gikan na sa abdominal aorta. And from the abdominal aorta, it is sent to the renal arteries. Okay? So what kind of blood supply supplies the kidney? It begins with the abdominal aorta and is sent to the renal arteries and eventually to the kidneys. Unsa may shape sa imuhang kidney? The kidneys are shaped like beans. Okay? They are bean-shaped organs found retroperitoneally. Okay? So these are the bean-shaped organs that is found retroperitoneally, meaning naa sa imuhang buko-buko. Asa dapita, naa siya sa T12 padulong sa imuhang L3. So T12 to L3. That's why in your health assessment, how do we check whether naa ba kay problems in the kidney, especially siguro bato sa kidney? Unsa may atong buhaton? Do we do a front punch or a back punch? Asa may ato ang sumbagon, ang atubangan or ang luyo? Di ba? You are told nga mo punch ta diri sa luyo. That's why we call it as kidney punch. Kay naaman sa likod ang imuhang kidney. Ang tawag ana retroperitoneal. Okay? So as between the right and the left, the right kidney is lower than the left. Nganong mas ubos man ang imuhang right kidney? Because it is made lower by the presence of the liver, which is found at the right. Now, pila man kabuk imong kidney? Diba duha? Okay? So since duha man ka-kidney, naay organ ibabaw ana niya. Duha pud tagsa sila. Unsay tawag sa organ nga naa nagpatong ibabaw sa imuhang kidney? We call that, class, as your adrenal glands. Okay? Now, if you look at the external structure of the kidney, naa kay duha nga manotice. Okay? Externally, kung mutan-aw ka kidney, siguro nakapalit na mo kidney sa baboy, no? Kanang himuon na nila og adobo or sinugba, no? Mupalit sila grinyon. Oh. So the kidney, class, externally has 2 distinct structures. Number 1, unsa may mapansin nimo? Di ba, class, ang kidney sinaw, no? Murag hamis kaayo ang imong kidney, glossy in appearance. That glossy structure that covers your kidney is what we call as the renal capsule. So the renal capsule is the glossy and glistening structure that wraps your kidneys. Okay? This is that fibrous layer that makes your kidney appear shiny. Okay? Transparent na siya. Okay? That's your renal capsule. Unya, makabantay sad ka sa imuhang kidney, it looks like a bean because naaman siya murag indention sa tunga. We call that as the renal hilum. So the renal hilum is the medial indention which gives your kidney that typical bean-shaped appearance. And take note that it is in the hilum where the different blood vessels and the different nerves are inserted and where the ureter is inserted. Diba, kidney man no? Kidney. So naa kay mapansin nga murag bean shape. There. Okay? So this is the bean shape structure. Kaning bean shape structure mao na siyang renal hilum, dinha nimo makita ang ureter. Unsa man ang ureter? Mao nay nagsumpay padulong sa bladder. Okay? Then from the bladder na nakay urethra, then urethral meatus, diha mo gawas ang ihi. So kidney, ureter, bladder, urethra. Okay? So again, in summary, there are two important structures externally of the kidneys. You have the renal capsule and the renal hilum. Ang capsule is the transparent fibrous layer which wraps the kidney, giving it the glistening or the glossy appearance. The renal hilum, on the other hand, is the medial indention which gives the kidney the typical bean-shaped appearance. This indented portion is that part of the kidney where you see ma-insert ang imuhang blood vessel, ang imuhang nerves, o ang imuhang ureters. Okay? That is insofar as the external structure is concerned. Now let's try to dissect the kidney. The kidney class on its dissected form is what we call as the renal parenchyma. Okay? So the kidney mismo, ang unod sa kidney or the renal parenchyma. It is comprised of three important structures. One, you have the cortex. Two, you have the medulla. And three, you have the pelvis. Okay? Tulo. Cortex, medulla, pelvis. Dili na siya lisod memorization ang cortex o medulla. Kay kibalo na mo ana sa adrenal gland. Adrenal cortex, gawas. Adrenal medulla, tunga. Kidney or parenchymal cortex, gawas. Kidney or parenchymal medulla, tunga. Okay? So the outer region of the kidney is called your renal cortex. Okay? Ang important structure nga naa sulod sa imuhang cortex is the glomerulus. Okay? So your glomerulus or the filtration functions of the kidney are found at the cortex of the kidneys. How about the medulla? The medulla is the deeper structure which contains you have your pyramid and you have your column. Okay? So ang medulla na ay duha ka portion, the pyramid and the column. So unsa man ang pyramid? From the word pyramid itself, it is shaped like a triangle. Okay? These are triangular structures inside the medulla. And the spaces in between these pyramids are what we call columns. So kanino? Pyramid, pyramid. Unsay tawag ani nga space? Kani siya ang imuhang column. The space in between the two pyramids. Again, ang medulla naa sa tunga. Sa tunga na ay duha ka structure. Naglinya nga mga triangle. Unsay tawag ana nga mga triangle? Pyramid. So sa tunga sa kada triangle na ay gap or na ay space. Unsay tawag ana niya? Column. Okay? To show you, this is how it looks. There. So kaning triangle nga imong nakita, triangle, 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 triangle. Unsay tawag ana nila? You call it as your pyramids. And you would notice that in between the pyramids na ay space, kaninga space. Unsay tawag ana nga space? You call them as the columns. Okay? So pyramids and columns are the components of your medulla. Okay. Gikan sa pyramid, na nakay mga ihi ana dadon padulong diri. Kani siya nga mga white spaces. We call this as your calyces. Calyx. And each calyx are going to the direction of the renal pelvis. Kani ang pelvis. Okay? So again, pyramid, kani, column, kani, calyx. Okay? Then from the calyx, ang tanan ihi musulod sa imuhang renal pelvis, and from the renal pelvis lahos na didto sa imuhang mga distal tubules, sa imong mga proximal tubules, sa imong mga tubules or renal tubules collectively. Okay? So, the regions of the parenchyma are, you have your cortex. Ang cortex naa sa gawas. Unsay sulod sa imong cortex, naa na siya'y glomerulus. Ang tunga na ay medulla. Unsay mga parts of the medulla, you have the pyramid and the column. Ang pyramid dinha ginahimo ang imuhang initial nga mga filtrates or mga gikan sa glomerulus. From the glomerulus, it goes to the pyramid. From the pyramid, it goes to the calyces. From the calyces, it goes to the pelvis, which is the third part or region of the parenchyma. So the pelvis is designed to receive the urine coming from the calyces, which in turn came from the medulla. So ato'y trace ha, gikan kas glomerulus, siya ang mo filter. From the glomerulus, you go to the pyramids. From the pyramids, you go to the calyces. From the calyces, you go to the pelvis. And from the pelvis, you go to the renal tubules before it is sent out of the body through the ureter, bladder, urethra, urethral meatus. Okay? So class, we have discussed the regions of the kidney as well as the external structure of the kidney. Now, what is the basic functional unit of the kidney? They are called your nephrons. Okay? The nephrons are the smallest and the most basic functional unit of the kidneys. Unsa may trabaho sa nephron? Ang imong nephron, sila ang responsable para sa paghimo sa imuhang urine. So urine is formed in the nephrons, and it has two distinct structures. What are the important structures of the nephrons? Number one, you have your corpuscle. Okay. And number two, you have the tubules. So you have a corpuscle, you have a tubule. Ang corpuscle, on the other hand, is comprised of two structures. You have the glomerulus and you have the glomerular capsule, which is more commonly known as your Bowman's capsule. So ang corpuscle na ay glomerulus, na ay glomerular capsule or Bowman's capsule. Okay, unsa may naong ana niya? Kaning glomerular capsule, mura na siya class og letter C. Okay, kani siya letter C. Okay, that's your glomerular capsule or Bowman's capsule. It encapsulates your glomerulus. Ang glomerulus class, these are capillaries, no? And these capillaries have podocytes. Ang podocytes are foot processes or structures shaped like feet nga maoy responsable sa pagsaan sa imuhang dugo. Okay? So gikan sa dugo, hugaw, naa kay uric acid, naa kay urea, naa kay creatinine, nitrogenous waste, toxins from foods and drugs, naa sa imong dugo. So hugaw ang dugo. Gikan sa dugo, ihatod siya padulong sa glomerulus. Unsa to ng glomerulus? They are capillaries which has podocytes or foot processes. So iyan ang saanon, iyahan ang i-filter. Gikan sa pag-filter, maabot na ka dito sa imuhang glomerular capsule, katong C-shape. Okay? And inig-abot nimo sa glomerular capsule, ang sinaan, mauna na gitawag nato og filtrate. Okay? Meaning to say, class, kung ang dugo hugaw, malimpyo siya kung muagi na ka sa glomerulus. Gikan sa glomerulus, ang limpyo na, ang filtrate na, naana sa corpuscle, na nasa Bowman's capsule. Pero, mapush lang na nimo ang dugo padulong sa glomerulus kung ang blood pressure nimo insakto. Okay? So, kung ang imong blood pressure hinay, the pressure is not strong enough to push the blood into the glomerulus and eventually to the Bowman's capsule. Mao bitaw nga ang kidney, basta hinay ang imong BP, angal dayon na siya. Unsaon man niya pag-angal, mo-secrete dayon siya og renin. Okay? So there must be sufficient pressure to push blood to the glomerulus, from the glomerulus to the Bowman's capsule. Ang naa sa Bowman's capsule, ang tawag ana class, filtrate na tawag ana niya. Okay? Then, the tubules, the second part of the nephron. Your tubules class, tulo na siya kaklase. Siguro kung nag-drug study mo og mga diuretics, nakadungog na mo ana nga mga term. Si proximal tubule, si loop of Henle, o si distal tubule. Proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle, distal convoluted tubule. So diin man na siya nimo makita. Sumpay na siya sa imuhang glomerular capsule. So moana na siya dire. Okay, glomerular capsule and then loop of Henle, then distal tubule. Okay? So these tubules, kaning tulo ka klase class, they are responsible for receiving the filtrate from the glomerular capsule. Sige, atong i-trace balik ha. From the blood, asa sunod, adto ka sa glomerulus. Unsa may naa sa glomerulus? Di ba naa siya mga capillaries, naa siya podocytes or food processes. So iyahan nang i-filter ang imuhang dugo such that katong mga pino like nitrogenous waste, urea, uric acid, creatinine, mulahos in the form of a filtrate. Pero ang katong mga dagko sama sa red blood cell, proteins, masangit. Ibalik siya dito sa dugo. So ang mugawas ra gyud class kung ang dugo na ay red blood cell, na ay protein, na ay nitrogenous waste, inig-agi ni glomerulus, ang mugawas padulong sa filtrate is only the waste. Ang red blood cell o ang imuhang protein i-reabsorb. Okay? Ngano man, pino man ang imuhang glomerulus. Pero kung naa kay nihubag nga kidney ni dako, mobilangkad man pud ng imuhang glomerulus such that imbis di makasulod na hinuon tong imong protein ug ang imuhang red blood cell. Mao nang makita nimo siya sa ihi kay nibuka man ang imuhang glomerular linings. Okay? So from the blood to the glomerulus, you go to the Bowman's capsule, and from the Bowman's capsule, you go to the tubules. Okay, and when we speak of tubules, na ay tulo. Your proximal tubule, proximal convoluted tubule, you have your loop of Henle, and your distal convoluted tubules. Okay? So this is to show you how the nephrons look like, no? So these are your nephrons. So tanawa class. Unsay tawag ani nga structure? This is your glomerulus. Remember, your glomerulus is made up of networks of capillaries, and they are so special that it contains podocytes responsible for the filtration process. So gikan sa imuhang blood, i-push na siya padulong dito sa imuhang glomerulus. For this to happen, there must be sufficient blood pressure. So inig-push na ana niya, maabot na ka dito sa imuhang Bowman's capsule. This is the Bowman's capsule. And from the Bowman's capsule, you now proceed to the different renal tubules. Usa sa imong mapansin diri class nga illustration is, ang imuhang renal tubules nakaputos na siya og mga ugat kani siya. Unsay tawag ani nga mga ugat nga nagputos sa imuhang renal tubules? We call that as the peritubular blood vessels. It's important to know these structures, class, because knowing these structures would help us understand how urine is formed. Okay? So it's important to understand how urine is formed. Let's begin, class, with the question. Giunsa man day na paghimo ang imuhang ihi? The formation of urine, class, comes in 3 different stages. The first stage is what we call glomerular filtration. The second stage is tubular reabsorption. And the third stage is your tubular secretion. So naatay tulo ka stages. Okay? So ang imong dugo, muadto na siya dito sa imuhang glomerulus. Now, how much blood does the glomerulus have to filter every minute? Okay? How much blood does the glomerulus have to filter every minute? To tell you, class, the glomerular filtration rate is 125 ml per minute. Okay? This is what we call as GFR, glomerular filtration rate. So the kidney, through its glomerulus, will have to filter 125 ml of blood. Okay? Kaning 125 ml of blood, they will have to proceed, no? They will have to proceed to your Bowman's capsule. Okay? And as it proceeds to the Bowman's capsule, ang tanan nga maabot dito sa imong Bowman's capsule is what we call as the filtrate. Okay? Kaning naadiri is what you call as the filtrate. So gikan sa movement from the blood going to the Bowman's capsule is your first stage of urine formation, glomerular filtration. So ang imong blood nagdala na siya og molecules dagko o gagmay. Ang dagko protein red blood cell, ang gagmay nitrogenous waste. So kaning dugo nga nay dagko o gagmay moadto ni glomerulus pero only the gagmay ang mulusot didto sa corpuscle. Kung mulusot na ka sa corpuscle, ang tawag nimo filtrate. While those dagko will be sent back to the blood. That is the first stage of urine formation. From the blood going to the Bowman's capsule. Now, pag-abot nimo sa Bowman's capsule, you proceed to tubular reabsorption. Meaning, mudaga na ka dito sa tubular areas. Katong tulo, proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle, and your distal convoluted tubule. Pag-abot nimo dito sa tubule, ipasa na ka padulong dito sa peritubular capillaries. So, nanaman ka diri, for example, nanakadiri, the filtrate in the tubules. So, kaning filtrate sa tubules, ihatod na pud ka padulong dito sa peritubular capillaries. That is what we call as tubular reabsorption. Sa 100% nimo nga filtrate nga naa sa tubules class, only 1% remains. Okay? Only 1% remains or only 1 ml remains to become urine. Ang katong 99% or 99 ml, ibalik niya dito sa dugo. Mo nang gitawag siya og tubular reabsorption. So the 100% nga filtrate nga naa sa tubo, ang 99 iuli sa dugo through the peritubular capillaries, while ang 1% remains to become urine. After that process, mo reverse na pud na siya. Ang katong naa sa imong dugo, ibalik na pud niya dito sa imuhang tubules. That is what we call as tubular secretion. In such a way, ang excess nga potassium, ang excess nga hydrogen ion, ug ang mga creatinine nimo ipadala from the capillaries to the renal tubules. O gikan sa renal tubules, muadto na siya sa imuhang collecting ducts diri. Pag-abot sa collecting ducts, mugawas na ka dito sa ureter, bladder, urethra, urethral meatus. And that is how urine is formed. Okay? So let's review. Unsa tong tulo ka stages: glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption, and tubular secretion. Stage 1, glomerular filtration. This is the process where the blood carrying molecules big and small is sent to the glomerulus to be filtered. Ang dagko, ibalik sa dugo. Ang gamay, mulusot sa corpuscle. Kung mulusot na sa corpuscle, ang tawag nimo ana, filtrate. That is stage 1, glomerular filtration. If the filtrate begins to move to the distal tubules, proximal tubules, loop of Henle, sugod na sa imuhang tubular reabsorption, imong stage 2. So unsa may mahitabo? Katong 100% nga filtrate nga naa sa mga tubo, ibalik niya didto sa ugat. Unsay tawag sa ugat? Peritubular capillaries. Such that only 1% of the 100 ml or 1 ml ang mahabilin mahimong ihi. So that is why, we produce at least 30 ml of urine per hour. Okay? So from tubular reabsorption, ipadala na dito sa dugo, karon bali na pod. Ang dugo ipadala padulong sa tubo, we call it tubular secretion. Unsa may ihatod sa dugo padulong dito sa mga tubo? Extra hydrogen ion, extra potassium, and creatinine. And from then on, you proceed to the collecting ducts, and from the collecting ducts, you go to the ureter, bladder, urethra, urethral meatus. And that is how urine is. Okay? Now, let's proceed with the different laboratory tests for the functions of the kidney. Number 1, pinaka-common na din ha class, urinalysis. Okay? So, at this point, maybe, dapat kahibalo na ta unsaon pagbasa o urinalysis report, no? So, unsa may mga potential findings in the urinalysis? So, let's say, unsa may color nimo? The color must be straw or amber yellow. Okay? Meaning, light yellow. Kung dark yellow ganin ang imong ihi, it indicates that you are dehydrated because the water component has been reabsorbed by the body because you are in a state of dehydration. Okay? So dapat ang ihi light yellow, straw colored, or amber yellow. Ang ihi, unsa may baho, angso. So how do we call it in English? We call it aromatic odor. Okay? How about the pH of the urine? Is the urine acidic or alkaline? It is slightly acidic. In fact, the pH is 4.5 to 8. That's the normal pH of the urine. How about the specific gravity? Pila may specific gravity sa urine? Unsa man tang orasa mo snack sa buntag, di ba? Alas 10:15 padung alas 10:30. That's how you memorize it. From 10:15 to 10:30, meaning 1.015 to 1.030. Okay? These are the normal gross findings in the urinalysis. Now question. If in the UA, you see glucose, for example, what does it mean? Kung naay glucose ang ihi, unsa may pasabot, you call it glycosuria. And not all glycosuria is abnormal. Glycosuria, class, can be pathologic if you have diabetes mellitus, or when you don't have diabetes mellitus, onya there is glucose in your urine, it may just mean that there's too much glucose intake for the day. Ano man, as much as possible, mga good class, we don't excrete glucose. But when glucose is too much or beyond the threshold or beyond the capacity of the kidney to hold, mo nang muawas na siya. Muawas na ganina ang imuhang glucose dito sa ihi, pasabot ana, sobra na gyud kataas ang imong sugar. Kay kutob sa mahimo, di man na niya ipagawas. Mugawas lang na ang glucose kung na-exceed na ka sa renal threshold nga 140 milligrams. No? So 90 to 120 ang normal sugar. Mo 130, okay pa na. Mo 140 na gani ka, na nagyud na glucose imong ihi. Okay? So pathologic is DM, non-pathologic is too much sugar intake for the day. You call it glycosuria. Okay? What if there's ketones in the urine? How do you call it? You call it ketonuria. So what does it mean to have ketones in the diet, to have ketones in the urine? So you may have diabetic ketoacidosis, which is a complication of your type 1 diabetes mellitus, or you might have just had a keto diet. Sa manang keto diet, kanang di mo kaon og kanon ba? Pulos lang mga meat ang ilahang kaunon. No? Dili sila mo kaon og carbs. Okay? So ketones in the urine. What if there's protein in the urine? Okay? What if there's protein in the urine? It means that there is some kidney problems, or there might be some PIH, pregnancy-induced hypertension. Okay? So, ngano man na, sir, nga naa may protein sa ihi? Okay? Naay protein sa ihi because nihubag ang imuhang kidney. Okay? To illustrate, kani siya, mao ni siyang normal nga kidney. Na kay filters. Inig-agi sa protein class, since dako man siya, masangit siya, sa mo nang ibalik siya. Pero kung inflamed ang imong kidney, sa Bisaya, nihubag ang imong kidney. So, nihubag siya. Okay? And this is your protein. Inig-agi niya, mo nang mulusot siya dito sa imuhang ihi. So, proteinuria. And this is the case of patients with PIH, pregnancy-induced hypertension. Unsa man na siyang PIH? Basta naa kay tulo ka symptoms. PIH happens when you have 3 concurring symptoms. P, proteinuria. H, hypertension. I, edema. So nagay kay proteinuria, edema, hypertension, kanang tulo, PIH, then that means you have PIH. But when PIH is accompanied by seizures, commonly tonic-clonic seizure, then it becomes eclampsia. Okay? What if ang ihi na ay bakterya? Normal ba nga na ay bakterya ang ihi? The answer is no. Ang ihi class is sterile. Pero magkabakterya lang na siya, inig-collect nimo because of its contact with the skin. Okay? Pero kung naamang gani bakterya, dapat few ra. Okay? And that's the reason why when we ask our patients to collect urine, it must be midstream clean catch. Okay? So ideally, ang ihi sterile, pero tungod sa contact niya sa skin mo nang mudawat rata nga naay few bacteria. But when there's too much bacteria, it may indicate UTI already. Okay? So, kung naay nana ang ihi, unsa man ang nana, pyuria, it indicates urinary tract infection or some cases of sexually transmitted diseases like gonorrhea, for example. Okay? Is it normal to see blood in the urine? You call it hematuria. Normal ba na siya or dili? Dili, no? Dapat walay ihi, walay dugo ang imong ihi. Because kung naay dugo sa ihi, basin giregla, no? Giregla or naay bato ang imuhang kidneys, naay trauma sa kidney, or posible naa kay UTI. Okay? Normal ba nga naay bile pigment sa imuhang kidney? Dili pod, no? Kay kung naga ni bile pigment sa kidney, it indicates some forms of liver disease. Okay? So that's for urinalysis. Next class is your blood studies. Unsa may mga blood studies that is significant for kidney functions. Tan-aw nimo ang BUN, blood urea nitrogen. Pila may normal nga BUN? 5 to 25. So aron di mo makalimot sa normal nga BUN, palit kag pan 5. Ug nananay hotdog ang pan 25. So 5 to 25 ang bun. Okay? So BUN, blood urea nitrogen. Remember, urea is a waste. Dapat ma-excrete sa kidney. Kung guba ang kidney, dili ka excrete. Mao nang musaka imong BUN. So an elevated BUN level indicates poor kidney functions. The same thing class sa imuhang albumin. Okay? Normal albumin level is 3.5 to 5.5. Okay? 3.5 to 5.5 milligrams per DL. And your creatinine, in which we've already mentioned, 0.6 to 1.2. Creatinine is a waste product of protein and muscle metabolism. Because it's a waste, the kidney must excrete it. If the kidney is damaged, dili nimo ma-excrete, mao na mo taas ang imuhang creatinine. Okay? And take note class, your creatinine is the most sensitive test indicating the function of your kidney. Another test is your ultrasound of the kidney, ureter, and bladder. So your KUB ultrasound. So what is a KUB ultrasound? This is a direct visualization of the kidneys, the ureters, and the bladder. You tell your patient not to worry because this is a painless procedure. But ang atong role as nurses is to do some bowel prep and to fill the bladder. Okay? Basta gani ultrasound KUB, maglaxative ta na inig kagabi para ang hugaw or ang fecal matters dili maka-obstruct sa visualization the next day. Okay? And we ask the patient to drink water and to withhold until the procedure is done. So pila may atong ipainom? Painom siya og duha ka baso na tubig. Okay? So this is your ultrasound of the kidney, ureters, and bladder. Okay? And the last important test insofar as the kidney is concerned is your renal arteriogram. Unsa man ang renal arteriogram? This is the X-ray visualization on the renal circulation. And in such a case, we will have to use a contrast medium that will have to be injected on the renal arteries. Since mogamit man kag contrast medium, unsa may importante atong ipangutana sa pasyente, nagsige na lang tagbalik-balik ana. You ask the patient if the patient has allergies to seafoods or iodine. Nga naman, because the dye is based on iodine. Okay? So, karon lang class na natay mga contrast medium nga mga hypoallergenic. But if the need is really if the benefit for the test is really very important, no? Grabe ang benefit kaysa sa risk. We might take the risk of using the contrast medium despite the allergy, but we must watch out for allergic reactions. So have EpiPen ready at bedside, okay? Or antihistamine ready bedside. Now, what are the preparations needed for your renal arteriogram? So you do your laxatives because we want to avoid interference in our visualization, pakalibangon daan. We shave the area. Asa man ta mag-shave, depende kung asa ang site sa tuang arteriogram. Pwede man femoral, pwede sa lumbar. Okay? And we need to mark the distal pulses. Kaya ato man ang i-check later on iniguman sa procedure, i-check na to kung naa pa ba ang mga distal pulses. Because very common diri class ang arterial complications as manifested by the absence of distal pulses. After the procedure, unsa may trabaho sa nurse, we monitor vital signs, we apply cold compress over the puncture site, we put a sandbag over the puncture site to prevent bleeding, and we monitor peripheral circulation because again of the potential arterial complications after the procedure. And importantly, basta renal arteriogram, you advise your patient to be on bed rest for 24 hours and to avoid sitting. Okay? So this is our preparation for patients with and post-op interventions for patient post-renal arteriogram. So technically, class, this is our part 1, introduction to kidney, the anatomy of the kidney, tests affecting the kidney, and the concept on how the urine is formed.